Okay, my faithful ballers, I know it's been a hot minute since I've gotten on this, but now we are back with part 3 of What If Cooler Replaced Frieza. Now, I want to make something known before we continue with this part. I am going to be going back a bit on some things that you may find, something that people may find inconsistent with what's been stated. But I just want everyone to know that I'm doing this to keep the movies, this movie at least somewhat consistent with the original timeline lore. For instance, if you really look, in the original lore, Gohan by the end of Namek has a power level around 200,000. Whereas in the Cooler movie, he was getting ragdolled by Dore, who only had a power level of about 186,000. So I'm gonna fix those inconsistencies. You'll find out the power levels I'm gonna give Cooler's Armored Squadron in this part of the video. But until then, and also I'm gonna add some surprises for Kakarot on Earth. I know I said it would continue mostly the same, but then I remembered one hyperactive female Saiyan that just wouldn't let that happen. So, hope you got your food and drink, because this one's gonna be pretty interesting. And, well, without further ado, let's see how Cooler is training up Vegeta and his son, Vegeta Jr. Cooler, Vegeta, and Prince Vegeta stepped down onto a strong metallic planet as the ship finally settles down after days of travel through the vastness of space. Once they're down on top of the planet, Cooler also gestures for the fourth party member to come out. And King Vegeta and Prince Vegeta had gotten well acquainted with him over the trip, and by well acquainted I mean they basically hated his guts, and he didn't care much for them either. Basically, this was Joy, Cooler's own personal wrestler, Roman wrestler that literally kills everyone in his wrestling matches on his home planet. He's and more importantly, one of Cooler's Armored Squadron members, was the second strongest in the group specifically. Cooler thought about letting Salza oversee the Saiyans training, knowing he was likely smarter and more analytical than Dore, but he also remembered he needed Salza to help the Saiyan military. Not that he didn't trust he didn't trust them completely. But to be perfectly honest, he just didn't trust them to their own devices without his guidance as of now. Sending someone that was actually smarter and more analytical than he was would actually be the most reasonable move to make. Whereas with King Vegeta and Prince Vegeta, he mostly just wanted to give them more training. King Vegeta was already incredibly intelligent, and Prince Vegeta wasn't that far behind him, so they wouldn't really need help with that part. Dore was mostly here to just get the power levels and the physical bodies up the stuff. Cooler then turns to Prince Vegeta and King Vegeta, as he just extends all three of them to the open space. This is your training grounds, your highnesses. His Cooler says with a small modicum of respect, which surprised both of them. You three will be staying on this planet for approximately, Cooler counts on his fingers, because as he estimates how much time it should take for them to reach the potential he expects them to be at. You will be on this planet for about, 6 months, give or take. Cool. King Vegeta and Prince Vegeta's eyes kind of widen at that. King Vegeta actually speaks up first. 6 months? My people can bear. How can my people? I'm the king of the Saiyans. What if my people need me? And I'm not there. Cooler just waves off his concerns. Prince, as long as your people follow me, no harm will come to any. As long as your people are loyal and follow me, no harm will come to them. I can guarantee you that. I won't lose my best assets. sets. In fact, I've simply sent one of my strongest soldiers to help govern your Saiyan military while you are gone. He's just as intelligent, if not more so than you, so you need not worry about such trivial things. Everything is taken care of. King Vegeta wants to argue, but at the same time, the fact that Cooler put that much thought into what he was doing and actually planned ahead actually surprised him. And he somehow suspects he wouldn't have gotten the same courtesy from Frieza. As you wish. Cooler looks at him expectantly. But King Vegeta just sighs and forces the words out. As you wish, Lord Cooler. And he does a little bow. And then he forces Prince Vegeta to do one as well. Doi just pretty much stands up next to Cooler and he chuckles at them. Doi and then Cooler then passes King Vegeta and Prince Vegeta to Scouters. You two will use these for the first few months of your training. Then you will both learn to sense the ki on your own. King Vegeta and Prince Vegeta look at him in suspicion. Prince Vegeta speaks up. What are you talking about? Who can sense ki without a scouter? Look, then Cooler just chuckles joyfully to himself. Prince, if you're asking questions like that, you clearly have much to learn before you even should envision yourself on the throne your father has. He then takes a quick peek at King Vegeta. Not that it would be much of a challenge, of course, to surpass him. King Vegeta grits his teeth to the point where you could almost hear it. Prince Vegeta is actually somewhat intrigued. Where did you learn any of this from? How did you get... What type of training did you do? And Cooler holds his hand up to Prince Vegeta. Survive this ordeal, and all your questions may or may not be answered, depending on if I would think you should have those answers. For now, though, all of you will stay here for 6 months. Doi is one of my toughest warriors. As he pats Doi on the shoulder, Doi boasts with pride. Yeah, just leave me here with them, King Cooler, Lord Cooler. I'll try not to kill them. Cooler then looked back at King Vegeta and Prince Vegeta. He has orders to make sure you get back alive. Doi just pouts as Cooler ruins his fun. Then Cooler is about to take his leave, but before he does, a second ship comes down to take him away. He points to the ship he's leaving behind. This ship has enough supplies, resources, and anything you may need to survive. You have 6 months worth of healing fluids, food, and other supplies if need be. But if you end up wasting those supplies, he points up to the sky. King Vegeta and Prince Vegeta, and even Doi look up to see a flock of flying whales? Some type of creatures, space creatures, they can't tell. All they know is instinctively, each of them, is that they are edible. So if they do happen to run out of food for any reason, they could most likely get some food from there. But they realize they're also really far off, so they'll have to shoot them with a ki blast, and it'll have to be very fast, precise, and accurate. Otherwise, they'll be wasting a lot of energy to do so. And before Cooler steps on the ship, he also turns back around and says, "Oh, and one more thing." And as he's about to speak, all King Vegeta and Prince Vegeta are forced to their knees as the gravity around them increases to double that of planet Vegeta's gravity. Doi stumbles, but he's able to hold himself upright, although it does take a bit of effort for him to move. Lord Cooler, what? You didn't tell me about this. This Cooler just slugs. Doi, I did. Remember the literal first thing I said? A mechanical planet that has ever-increasing levels of gravity. I picked you specifically for this due to your size, and stature. You should be capable of handling this better than the others, especially considering your wrestling background. And Dory just smirks as he stands up straight despite the strain. It's a minor strain, but still strained. Yes, Lord Cooler, he salutes. I will not fail you. So Cooler just nods, smiling. No threats, no nothing. He just is genuinely happy Dory doing his job. He tells King Vegeta and Prince Vegeta to look at their scouters once more before he leaves, and they scan Dory, and they see that he has a power level of a whopping 850,000. Both of their jaws drop. They're supposed to spoil this monster for 6 months? How are they gonna survive? Is a thought that is immediately wiped away from their minds because it's unsaiyan-like. The two of them then look back at Cooler as they have determination in their eyes. Mark my words, Cooler. We will come back stronger than you ever imagined by the time we are done here. Cooler looks at him with a bemused smirk. See that you do, Saiyan. It would be a shame if you and your son had made me waste my time with your waste. And I do not like having my time wasted. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to go check on the progress of our Saiyan military. Cooler then steps on the ship. The minute that Cooler's ship is out of sight, Dory grabs both of them by the waist and suplexes them to the ground with enough strength to pretty much make the planet rock. He then looks down at the two of them and sees that they are just barely alive from that one attack. Wow. You two really are weak. I'd love to kill you, but unfortunately I gotta keep you alive. He then dragged both of them back into the ship that Cooler left for them to put them in the healing chamber. I hate training new recruits. They always break so easily. And as fate would have it, another ship so happens to land just as Cooler's ship from the Iron Planet takes off. This time, a much bigger ship, of course, to house the Saiyan military. This time, an entire fleet of ships to host the large majority of the Saiyan military. Bardock had told Nappa to stay on planet Vegeta in case of attackers that would try to one up on the Saiyans. So he told him to stay and protect the hood. Now, when Bardock steps out of the ship, Soldier just walks past him with him elegantly, but also rudely as he bumps Bardock aside. Bardock can already see he's going to hate working with this guy, and what comes out of Soldier's mouth the next minute just cements it. Okay, listen here, monkeys, or apes, or I don't really care what your race is called. Bardock starts to grit his teeth, and Soldier just rolls his eyes. Fine, Saiyans, if that will make this go by faster. Listen, this is called Planet Vampa, Bardock interrupts. Yeah, I heard of it. It's an uninhabitable wasteland that's not good for anything. Soldier says as he just goes over to Bardock, placing a hand around his shoulder. A hand around his back. No, you see, my dear monkey friend. This here is your new military camp. Bardock just looks around the area as he looks down at Raditz, who is right next to him. This is just the minute they had just conquered that planet that they had been, and then the two of them reminisce about what happened. They had actually gone to conquer a planet not too long ago. More like a week ago or something, before Soldier comes to pick him up and saying he had all the Saiyans already on the ships. Bardock and Raditz had gone to do this on their own because Raditz, well, not on their own, but it did mostly feel like it because because Bardock was easily the strongest Saiyan there, and Raditz stayed close to him to observe how his father worked. Bardock wasn't injured at all on the mission, but Raditz due to wanting to keep up with his father, was incredibly tired afterwards, and as well as having some serious injuries due to helping Bardock fight the stronger opponents. And in this scenario, we'll say that Raditz had a power level of around, let's see, he had a power level of about 1,400 on Earth, about 1,000, about 1,200 on Earth. No, yeah, 1,000, about 1,200. So let's just say now he would have a power level of about 900. He had a power level of about 900 by the time he was this old, which would make some sense. So after he was healed and he got his Zenkai boost, which would be a 1.4 times increase, he would have gotten a power level of about, and yes, I am doing the math while I'm making the video. I know I should plan better, but it's just easier to do things like this. Okay, 900, let's say 940 times 1.4, and he now has a power level of 1,316. Bardock is actually very proud of Raditz. He had been a bit of a slacker, and Bardock was worried he'd end up being a lazy, good-for-nothing weakling. But like that could ever bring shame to the Saiyan ways. But like that could ever happen. I mean, his brother already covered that role. So Bardock still, and as stated before, Bardock never had that envision of Kakarot doing anything useful. So as far as he's concerned, Kakarot is just some waste of his genetics. He didn't even... Genetics, that's not worth mentioning. In fact, except Raditz is interested in having a brother, but he's more interested in the idea of having a brother than he is, interested in actually, going to meet Kakarot himself. So, as far as the two of them concerned, it's just them. As far as Bardock's concerned, he just has one son to worry about. But then after this goes on, so before they can reminisce any further, Frieza just looks back at the Saiyans, scanning their power levels, seeing that they go from power levels of 1,000 to possibly some of them having 6,000. The strongest ones probably 7,000, and a very few reaching 8,000. Frieza just sighs as he looks over at them. This is pathetic. I've seen garrisons of lesser soldiers with more power levels than you. If it wasn't for your ability to turn into primitive monstrosities, these at a full moon's light, you would have never even come close to conquering the galaxy. Cool. Frieza just puts his hands in his head. What did he sign up for 6 months? Well, technically, it technically wasn't him signing up. Cooler just ordered him. He remembers the conversation too. So, Frieza, I need you to take care of training the entire Saiyan military alongside General Bardock. Frieza, of course, is skeptical. Lord Cooler, if they are as good as you say, they should be capable of doing it on their own. So they're not. Frieza, who writes your paychecks? You do, Lord Cooler. Good. Go train the military. And just like that, Frieza was training the Saiyan military. Frieza just puts his hand. Frieza just looks around at the planet, trying to see the best way to make use of this pathetic world. Frieza actually did. Now, Cooler did tell Frieza that Broly was actually supposed to be sent here. As King Vegeta had said, that was his plan for the young prodigy Saiyan. Saying that he stressed up and down he could swear what might be the legendary Super Saiyan. Cooler, of course, didn't care much for it. All he knew was that he found a very powerful asset he could use independent of the Saiyans, since they had cast both Broly and Paragus aside. It wouldn't be hard for him to make use of them. And also, he had to admit, even he found that somewhat cool. At least he would have just executed them. Not left them to die slowly on some barren wasteland of a planet. So that's why he decided it would be perfect for the Saiyans to train there. Frieza goes around using his super intelligence to try to find out a way of being using his genius level intelligence to try to find out a way for them to make the best use of here. He notices that the planet is actually seemingly barren, but the life forms here are actually quite nutritious. Yes. Taking a sample of them back to the ship, he actually scans the life forms and finds out that they're just as hardy as the planet. Full of proteins, carbs, vitamins, minerals, fiber, pretty much everything, even macronutrients as well, and micronutrients. And then he scans the blood of the creatures, finding out that it's actually more hydrating than water would have been. And the environment is harsh and the planet is unforgiving, but as far as he's concerned, the wildlife that you can hunt here makes it worthwhile if you're strong enough to take them down. Because Soldier does admit that some of the weaker Saiyans might be killed by the wildlife here. Because as in the movies, Paragus said that Broly must have needed to become a great ape. Great ape to have beaten him. Broly in the movies had a power level, I think, of 900 in the 900s, probably 926. Meaning as a great ape, he would have a power level of 9,000. And Paragus seemed to suggest that would have been the only way he could have taken down any of these creatures on his own. So technically speaking, the lower level Saiyans are gonna have a hard time here. But still, Planet Vomp is rigorous, untamed, and completely out of scope for most of the wider universe, for the most part. So, Cooler actually wondered how the Saiyans even knew of this place. It was so out of the way that it was kind of not worth even talking about. But it was Lord Cooler's orders, and he needed to see them through. Even if it was the literal space boonies. He turns to the Saiyans and gestures to the wide planet. Alright, Saiyans. All of you are to survive. All of you are to train as hard as you can on this planet. No great ape. No great ape. No healing chambers. You will heal naturally. And we want to see naturally for the first 3 months, and for the next 3 months you will be allowed to use the chambers. But only the strongest of you will be even considered. We want Lord Cooler and myself wish to see how you can all, how your Saiyan Zenkais work when you're left to heal on your own merits. We will exploit you and your abilities to the highest amount, to the highest amount we can, for our benefit, and I guess to yours, if we're feeling generous. With Solzadin asked Bardock to scan his power level. Bardock had actually wanted to do this before, but he told him not to. So when General Bardock does it this time, he is shocked to find out that Soldier has a power level of about 1.3 million. And in fact, his scouter he's not sure if that's what it even was, because the scouter broke despite it being brand new. Soldier then states that they're going to have to do this without scouters. There's no reason for them to use them on this planet after all. It will just be them, and they'll just scan each other, know how to instinctively tell the strength of others. And yes, in this scenario, I'm going to say that Cooler and his men learned how to sense ki on their own. Because it just would make sense from the stuff that Cooler did in the movie, like lowering his power level to the point where they couldn't feel it on Earth, even though in Frieza, well, they felt him before he even entered Earth's atmosphere. So Soldier would also state that he's begrudgingly staying here against his will to help train the Saiyans. And he says he'll be trained named Bardock and, if need be, his son Raditz in the meantime. Bardock states that he'll gladly, Bardock, despite the vast power difference, is eager to take up the challenge and states that he'll gladly train with him. But before any war wars can be said, a giant block of beast suddenly comes out of the woodwork and actually kills one of the weaker Saiyans. It's not long before the Saiyans are actually ganged up on by Bomber Beetles and Bomber Beasts from all sides. All while Soldier is watching, telling General Bardock that if he wants to help them, he's going to have to get to him first. Bardock, without any hesitation, rushes forward and punches Soldier straight in the face, only for Soldier to not move and end. He then begins to attack Soldier. Soldier decides that enough's enough after a few seconds and just kicks Bardock, hearing a giant snap as he breaks his rib cage. Bardock lays down in pain as Raditz tries to help his father, then shoots him and shoots Soldier. Soldier's shot is also shot now. Soldier just deflects it and then hits Raditz back, knocking him out with one slap. This is going to be almost impossible. Soldier just sighs as he looks back and sees the Saiyan military being almost decimated by the overpowered resident filth of Bomber. I wonder what you are doing right now, Cousin Jace. Cooler watched as the Saiyans were struggling with the beast of Bomber, as he just chuckled a bit despite himself. He needed them for his future plans, of course, but it didn't mean he couldn't take a bit of entertainment in the struggles as they came up to be stronger. But it wasn't statistic. More so like how you would laugh at someone who's trying to achieve something when you actually want them to achieve it, instead of when you're just laughing at them when they fail. Kind of almost encouraging between mock and encouragement. Cooler then turned back at Soldier, his final remaining member of his armored squadron, as he pointed to Broly and Paragus. Well, Paragus, it appears that I've kept my end of the deal. You and your son Broly will be hereby immune and emancipated from any dealings with the Saiyan race as of henceforth. You will take orders directly from me, and you will both be two of my right-hand men. Cooler then looks down at Broly as he moves to meet the young Saiyan, and you, little Saiyan, will be of great importance to the Cooler Empire. Broly just stares at Cooler unknowingly, but also in defiance. But not in defiance, but as if an unknowing annoyance, but not defiance. Cooler notes this as he realizes that this Saiyan seems to be more tamed than the others. Still wildly, as he had tried to fight Cooler the minute he met. Fight Cooler when they got on the ship, but one quick yank of the tail ended that from Paragus. Paragus actually was a noted general in the Saiyan military, and Cooler one of the colonels in the Saiyan military, one of the leaders alongside Nappa, so he most likely could be of use to Cooler, and Broly's latent potential is something even Cooler could sense. If he could get even a quarter of that out, Broly would need the best training Cooler could find from the best teachers he could gather. And Paragus would more so be like an emotional tie for Broly to keep him under control. But Cooler fully intended to become a better father than Paragus to Broly. Whether he would end up caring about him or not, he just shrugged. As long as Broly was useful to him, he would be kept around. Cooler knew he was playing a dangerous game with all the Saiyans and Broly, but he also knew that if he had even a chance of taking the Empire for himself and shaping it in the way he wanted it to go, he would need the Saiyans. He would need Broly and Paragus, because they could help him with his final goal. His final to make sure that his reign over the universe lasted indefinitely. Broly tugged on Cooler's tail as he just struck, as he said, "So, Mr. Cooler, where are we going now?" Cooler looks at them, and as Soldier just, as knees just begins to chuckle. Chuckle. Cool. And just so we're clear, Knees has a power level of about 630,000. You'll see, little Saiyan. Lord Cooler, something very good. A really good surprise for both of you. You'll love it. Broly will act as a bit at that, whereas Paragus is on guard. Lord Cooler, what type of plans do you have in store? What are you planning as of Lords? What's your end goal in all this? Helping the same people your family would exploit to no end and destroy without a second thought. Huh? You mean like with King Vegeta when he was about to send you and your son away to this same barren wasteland to die a slow, agonizing death? I assure you, I am much kinder and more well, not compassionate, but more open-minded than my brother and my father. You all have been treated with the utmost care, believe it or not. If it had been Frieza, as I've said, you would have all been annihilated because his paranoid little mind would have thought you'd be a threat. If you'd been still under cold, he would have just left you to your own devices as long as you did what he said, despite the glaring inefficiency of your actions. Under me, you have it both ways. All of you get to survive, all of you get to make as much money as you could possibly know what to do with, and all of you get stronger than anything in this universe. Aside from me, of course. But second best does sound better than dead, doesn't it? Knowing that he's outmatched Paragus just kneeling before Lord Cooler, then show us what. Then please lead us. We are at your service, Lord Cooler. Broly, without even being needing to be told, bows as well. Cooler looks at both of them as he smiles. And now, let the Cooler Empire be officially established. I apologize, Father, but you just simply aren't running things the way they should be. And in a blink of an eye, 6 months go by. King Vegeta dodge an oncoming full energy barrage wave from joy as he once again ambushes them for the 10th time today. They haven't been certain. He likes to play these cat and mouse games where he acted like he was hunting them like animals. They didn't get a say in the matter either. He just thought this was the funnest way of training after a few weeks of them being stuck here. Yeah, and the two of them were just supposed to survive as long as he found it entertaining, or until they landed a hit on him. But luckily for them, luckily he wasn't going serious as of now, because it was easier for the king and slightly easier for Prince Vegeta to dodge the attack this time around. Much easier than it was from the beginning. After 6 months, their power had risen exponentially. Because remember, Goku, when he went to train on King Kai's planet with only 10 times Earth gravity, got an increase of 19 times. And there's also a little tidbit Cooler didn't mention about the mechanical planet the two of them were on. It actually changed gravities extremely. From one day it can be 20 times gravity. The next it could be weaker than Planet Vegeta's. The next it could be 100 times Earth's gravity. It constantly changed and was in flux. The two of them really didn't know what to expect on either day, and Doi himself was also stumbled as much. In fact, the first few days or a week was them just getting used to this type of training. But after they did, the results skyrocketed. King Vegeta now had King Vegeta, after training this rigorously, now had a power level of about 465,600, and this was just 100, and he felt like he could put 100, and it was so entertaining for him, and it was so gratifying for him to have to make Dory actually try against him this time. And then as for Prince Vegeta, due to him having a bit more potential than his father, he actually ended up getting a bigger increase due to this potential. He now has a power level of around, let's see, what would be a good increase? Okay, let's do this. Okay, let's do it like this. And Prince Vegeta now has an increase of about 500,000 times. About 500,000. A power level of 500,000. And King Vegeta is proud of his son for surpassing him, but he tries to keep his head in the game as Dory wusses at them once again with a thunder kick that almost takes Vegeta's head off. Had he not dodged at the last second and come up with an uppercut that walked up his jaw. Dory actually grins at this. This as he begins to come back up for another attack. Bear hugging King Vegeta as he crushes him. Don't get too cocky, monkey. He's interrupted as Vegeta just knees him straight in the face. He's hearing a crunching sound as Dory was only using about 3/4 of his power level at this point, and that's the full 900,000 that he gained while training with them. He would still grow. Dory would still grow in power from this. He just wouldn't grow anywhere near as high as the Saiyans. His power level instead went from 800,000 to around 950,000. Still higher than the Saiyans, but not double, so they can still injure him even if he were going all out, but it would still be a battle for them. And working together, it would even be less of a struggle if they were actually trying to kill him, and that occurs to Dory. And this has been an actual fight to the death. He actually might be in danger here. Luckily, they were ordered by Frieza not to kill each other, but Dory doesn't ever tell them this. He just kind of goes on to be. He just kind of acts all cool and nonchalant. He then unleashes his full power of 950,000 as he just starts to crush King Vegeta, hearing bones quack as he recovers from the kick to the face that Prince Vegeta gave him as if it never happened. In ways that his attack not having any seeming effect, Prince Vegeta actually something interesting, utilizing the technique that he had actually constructed. He starts to attack him more and more, but unfortunately it's just not enough. No, Dory then just slaps Prince Vegeta away as he's like, yeah, just sit there and watch that go the life out of your father. Too bad, with all that power you still couldn't do anything. Can't even save your father. What help does a little primitive monkey like you to be a ruler of your own people? Pathetic. I knew we were wasting our time. Prince Vegeta had just snapped. Getting back up, he puts his hands together and begins to charge up an incredible attack. Dory just focuses on bear hugging King Vegeta until he senses something, as if his life was in danger or something. He then looks behind he didn't release. He didn't feel like he should move now. But it's too late as Prince Vegeta shouts out, "Gallic Gun!" Yeah, and the Gallic Gun is fired. Now, from what we've seen in the anime, it seems to put Vegeta's power from 18,000 to 24,000, meaning that right now it would put him from 500 by around 500,000 to about 530,000. But considering that he's gotten a wave boost, he gets it up a bit more from 500,000 to close to 600,000. Him and King Vegeta have been more focused on surviving than actually increasing their ki control. So until he has more of that would be the best he could accomplish. Nevertheless, Joy turns around and is forced to actually slap the attack away, and notices that it hurt like a lot. He then looks at Prince Vegeta, who's struggling to stand at this moment, goes over to him, and Prince Vegeta readies himself for another blow, or maybe for the big guy to just forget Cooler's orders and kill him finally. But instead he just taps the Prince on the head, something that annoys something that making Prince Vegeta wish he had just decided to kill him for how embarrassing it was. Yep, we're done here. Both of you go pack up. We're going to meet back with the rest of the with Cooler's race in a few minutes. And a while later. He then carries the unconscious body of King Vegeta back to the ship. Oh, and Prince Vegeta looks up at him as they fly back in the direction of the vessel. Yeah? What is it, Green Man? Joy just looks at him. That was a nice attack. How did you come up with something like that? Prince Vegeta looks at him, and then he just looks at the smoke of his own. Well, you see, if you must know.
A finger beam passes straight past Bardock's ears as it actually calls out a nice little trench on his earlobe. Just one of the many hundreds of dozens of scars he's gotten on this calmly forsaken planet. He didn't rebound, but learning on this war to never ever show any forms of weakness or even signs of fatigue. He lets loose with a full power energy when the soldier just begins to cut through using his own Salsa blade, but clearly showing some struggle to do so due to Doc's power level having just clearly skyrocketed due to being on this planet and constant training and beatings from Salsa himself. So, in fact, every single Saiyan had got grown, and their power levels are incredibly high. Just to know, Bardock's power level on his own, just from being on Vampa, would be about 910,000 times. Now I know a lot of you are wondering how Bardock got this strong on Vampa, whereas Vegeta and King Vegeta didn't get that strong on the Metallic planet. Well, that's because Bardock is always the one to do extra. He wasn't just doing extra, and this planet Vampa is a place where he would have more than enough opportunity to do that extra stuff, because he would literally need to do it to survive. Think about Goku training on King Kai's planet. He got about 16.2 or 4 times stronger just from training on King Kai's world. Yeah, the extra training he was doing was helping, but imagine what he was doing on King Kai's planet, and then imagine it twice as bad, because now there's no one there, no safe place for him to really recuperate unless he makes it for himself. He's constantly going to you would be constantly because on Baba, it's survival training every single day. It's high intensity, low intensity, every form of primal workout you can name. Not for betterment, but just to stay alive on that hostile planetoid. Bardock and all the other Saiyans would need to be doing this every single day just to stay alive. Let alone training in the sparring Bardock has to do with Soldier so he can help his men and his son. Oh, and speaking of Raditz, thanks to this training also he got a sizable increase as well. Well, from 1316 to about 41,164. 43,164. So this has been an incredible Kami Sen for the Saiyans as they've been training on Vampa. But Raditz isn't even the weakest one there. He's not the strongest Saiyan. That would be Bardock as of now. But as far as they're concerned, this training has been amazing. And even Souls is impressed by how much the Saiyans have grown in such a short time. He actually has to try against Bardock, otherwise he would quickly find himself overwhelmed. And he himself actually hasn't grown that much because he was so much more powerful than what else besides Cooler himself at the time. So his power increase would have been barely negligible, so he's still roughly 0.3 million. But since that's only 1.4 times stronger than Bardock, he now actually has to try against him. All the days when he could just slice his arms and legs and let him heal on the ground for a few days as his son fed him back to health. He found a type of fondness in them. And he didn't get much time to think about it. Bardock all but clotheslined him right to the ground and then began to do a flip shot as he flipped over him and shot him, tried to shoot him from behind. The Soldier managed to kick his hand out of the way as he planned to drive his blade straight through Bardock's right side where the heart wasn't. Ain't looking to cripple when I killed the Saiyan. Bardock was having none of it though as he all but grabbed the blade, blood just soaking down his hands, but he didn't care and headbutted Soldier straight in the nose. Soldier at this point was only using enough power to match Bardock and that tussle, but now he utilized his full potential. Oh, you! As he looked at his beautiful face, oh, you miserable Saiyan primate! You dare to define beautiful face, and guess it is time that you destroyed. Bardock looked at Soldier and just started chuckling. You know, Soldier, I didn't just learn fighting from you. I also learned a lot of other capabilities as well. For instance, that Soldier blade, as you called it, that's just you focusing your ki into one single point, right? Pretty interesting trick. Well, let's see if I can copy it. Yeah, Bardock then summoned up an incredible war around himself as Soldier put his blade to the maximum power he could. Only then did he see that Bardock's power wasn't stopping, it was rising. At the bare minimum, double of what it was before. But it's actually scared Soldier because Bardock's now new spear of 1.8 million outshined him, not by months, and while this attack most likely wouldn't kill him unless Bardock wanted it to, it could hurt. So he decided to release it, only for Bardock to form a spear in his right hand. As he stopped, then shouted the words, rebellion, spear, and then spinning with the spear, he began to wham right into Soldier's blade, causing it to crack and causing a loud boom to be heard around the planet, sending a vermin at the Saiyans who were about to hunt with lunts scattering. And luckily the Saiyans were fast enough at this point to stop them from doing so, but some of them still got away. Raditz, who had been eating a quick lunch in the corner, ran over to his father and Salsa. He saw that Bardock was now tired and tuckered out. He had just recently decided to utilize his ability, so he was still new at it. And he then looked at Salsa, who, for the first time that Raditz had known, was notably injured and bleeding out and unconscious, and just barely, and I mean barely alive. But the same thing's gonna go Bardock as well. Ryan just looked at this, and then he looked at the others, and his immediate response was, as the other Saiyan got around, he was like, as the second in charge behind my father, I say our training here is complete. Pack everything up and call in a ship. And then a few extra ships. We're heading back to Planet Vegeta. The soldiers saluted him and started carrying Bardock back, and other soldiers started carrying Salsa. Wouldn't do if Salsa died here. What would Lord Cooler say after all? Raditz, after all. And that's the end of this special long What If Cooler will replace Frieza episode 3. I really hope you guys are still interested in watching this. Isn't it? You guys and gals are interested in watching this. And I hope all of you love this new extended version to make up for the while it took me to do the third installation. But considering that I know all of you guys are gonna love it, or the vast majority of it, let me know in the comments below how I can improve it, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, and post it, share it, because I'm going to be starting up a subscribe store soon, and I can use the extra income. So, with all that being said, stay faithful, my ballers, and bye-bye.